I'm a dreamer, a creator. I live in the world of the imagination. I love to dream up new worlds for characters and situations that inspire me. I'm constantly studying people and the world around me, and it's a source of endless inspiration. I'm not somebody that limits themselves, and I think that applies to everything in my life. I've always been a businesswoman at heart. I'm quite an independent person, so I've run a PR company for I think about 20 years now, and I'm quite excited with this phase in my life. So currently I am working on the adaptation of my debut novel, Red Ink, for television. It's an exciting process. I've never felt so creatively alive as I do right now. But I think I will continue to be a novelist at heart because my love for the written word literally comes from the time when I was 5 years old, from when my dad took me to the library, local township library, and I got that library card and I was hooked from the beginning. For me, writing crime is about suspense and managing to hook the reader from the first page to the last. And so to do that, you really have to go beyond just reading for pleasure, because a lot of it is about just planting those seeds and leaving those crumbs for a reader to follow. So I can't pinpoint one specific source of inspiration, but it was really amazing to set a crime novel within an African cultural context, because I don't think I've really read that before. You know, when I started writing, I think I was quite insular because I just thought, I didn't have great ambitions. I just thought I'm writing for, people like me, people around me, people in my country. But what's been amazing over these years is that my books have opened up to different parts of the world. And I've had people from Nigeria and Kenya and everywhere else within the continent kind of finding resonance with my characters and with the narratives that I've spun over the years. So I felt like it would be interesting to bring in part of the world into my writing, because Africa does feel like a place right now that just needs to be celebrated just from its very many different facets. And yeah, that's why it was interesting for me to go out into Swaziland, which I literally did spend time in that country and interacted with people who've attended the Reed Dance, who've participated in it, so that those stories feel as real as possible. So I hope that readers are actually going to enjoy that. It's definitely, I think, honed kind of my craft in an interesting way that I had not thought about as a novelist, because I had to study the techniques that I used in television, and I came across some really interesting technical skills that television writers use, which I've found really, really useful in my novel writing. And I've found that, in delving into that, there's just kind of been a different layer, I think, that has been added to my writing process, which I found incredibly useful. So, and also writing for television is such a collaborative effort. Like, there could be 3 people or 10 people in the room, in the writing room, whereas, writing a novel is such a solitary experience. Writing Reed Dance Stalker meant going back to Lucy Kambule, who is loosely based on me. So I suppose it's always, there's always going to be some pain in kind of revisiting who you were and exploring a fictional character and trying to evolve it in similar ways that you've evolved as a person. And I suppose one goes through, a lot in 16 years, a lot of pain, a lot of triumphs. So it was not an easy process from that point of view. but in the end, it was quite affirming because I could see the girl that she was and the girl that I was and the woman or the person that I've become. She was a woman even then. And the woman that I've become. It's been quite personal and terrifying, but gratifying as well. There's a new character, an extremely disturbed individual. And I think the reason that I delve into these kind of characters that nobody actually wants to have the time of day with is because South Africa is such a damaged society. It's always a niggling question for me that why do we have such violent people? Why do people inflict harm on helpless individuals, children, women? And so I like to find out more about the disturbed because I feel like if we know what causes that, I think we can get closer to not rearing or breeding people who just do harm for harm's sake. Because I think it's important to ask those big questions that are uncomfortable. Because if we don't ask them, we're just going to keep doing the same thing and wondering why we're so messed up. I never thought that I'll find somebody like you. Oh, do you know the song? Wanna fall in love. Dun, dun, dun. Let me find it. I've got a playlist that says Angie's Weird Songs, and it's in that. Wicked Game, Chris Isaac, sorry, here it is. Very, it's got like kind of these moody, mystical kind of tones, which I think would be perfect just to depict just that kind of eeriness that you have in the book. So Chris Isaac, Wicked Game, definitely. Hashtag fear everything. I'm joking. Hashtag expect the unexpected. Lucy Kambule, I'm tired of sick people, y'all know. Lucy Kambule, definitely. Yeah, I root for her because she's brave, she's bold, she fights for what she believes in, and she's undeterred by, you know, just fear. Like she faces her fears, and I believe that's important. Tough one. You're asking me to choose between my babies. I would say, I'd say Black Widow Society, and I think mainly because I really took risks with that book. I didn't know what I was doing. Secret society of women, female vigilante group who off their errant husbands. I always get thrilled when I put something out there that I'm not sure about, especially when it works out and when people actually, you know, receive it well, because I think as a writer, it's important to kind of step out of what is safe and try and surprise your readers every now and then. And I think that's what that book does. I think in a country that deals with gender-based violence on an almost daily basis, it was a good conversation starter. And I think it just put power, it gave power back to women who are in a situation that is very disempowering. And I think for that reason, that's why I would choose Black Widow Society. I'm reading Siphiwe Ndlovu, Theory of Flight. She's brilliant. I am reading more of Zukiswa Wana, which I've been reading for a while. And I am also currently reading Fred Khumalo. There's quite a lot happening because of Reed Dance Stalker and Red Ink television series. I'm barely finding time to catch my breath. But I do have a new story idea, a book idea. I know how it's going to start. and I know how it's going to end. But when am I going to start actually putting my fingers on the keyboard? I'm not sure, but I definitely have something quite interesting and quite different for me once again. But I think it still will have the hallmarks of what makes an Angela Makholwa novel. And also I think I'm going to do more production work. I definitely want to see another one of my titles on screen. I mean, all of them are being adapted for television or cinema by different producers. But I think what also excites me is the fact that I'm one of those producers and I want to do more of that.